Hello there. Do you believe that your country is one of the best when it comes to electricity connections, supply, access, and stability across Africa? Yes! Now, today I'm going to give you 10 most electrified countries found on African continent. Wait and see whether your country belongs to top 10. Now, at number 10, we have Senegal. Yes! Senegal, of course, has made significant strides in energy security by shifting from heavy oil to something called a mix of natural gas and renewables. Chai! Now, Senegal utilizes various energy sources because it generates most of its electricity from solar, wind, biomass, and natural gas. Yes! Now, because of this, Senegal has a 47.4% electricity access rate in rural areas and 95.2% electricity access rate in urban areas, which is average to a national electricity access rate of 70.4%. So this, together with Senegal's new gas to power and renewable investments, makes Senegal the 10th most electrified country found in Africa. Now, at number 9, we have Kenya. Yes! Kenya's power stability is driven by its leadership in geothermal energy, which provides a consistent base load supply. So, Kenya has also expanded its grid infrastructure with the energy mix, which includes hydropower, geothermal power, wind power, solar power, and there's something called biomass. So, this has made Kenya to have a 62.7% electricity access rate in the rural areas and 94% electricity access rate in urban areas. So this is averaged to a national electricity access of 71.4%. So this, together with Kenya's prioritization of rural electrification, makes Kenya the 9th most electrified country found in Africa. At number 8 is Botswana. Yes! So Botswana has prioritized energy diversification, moving towards solar power to reduce reliance on coal. Remember, this landlocked South African country mainly generates its electricity from coal, wood, and petroleum. And they are relying on coal and petroleum products from South Africa and other regional neighbors, of course. So Botswana has a 26.4% electricity access rate in rural areas and a 90% electricity access rate in urban areas, which is averaged to a national electricity access rate of 72%. So this is in relation to their national population, which is around 2.5 million people. So as Botswana is still looking at using its abundant wind and solar resources, Botswana remains as the 8th most electrified country in Africa. Now, at number 7, we have South Africa. Yes! South Africa has been restructuring, of course, its power sector to improve stability. And also remember, South Africa currently generates most of its electricity from coal. So this country is targeting energy diversification, of course. So because of this, they have invested in renewable energy development so that they can reduce the heavy reliance on coal by 60% by 2030 in order to further improve electricity access. So South Africa, because of this, they have a 75.3% electricity access rate in the rural areas and 88.8% electricity access rate in the urban areas, which is averaged to a national electricity access rate of 84.4%. This is as they intend to increase its renewable to 25%. Yes! So South Africa, because of this, remains as the 7th most electrified country found in Africa. Now, at number 6, we have Ghana. Yes! Ghana's stable power supply is as a result of major infrastructure upgrades, particularly through something called the MMC, Ghana Power Compact. The country has diversified in energy mix with hydropower, thermal, gas, and solar power. This is to ensure resilience against shortages. So, strong regulatory oversight and investment in transmission networks have further reinforced grid reliability. So, Ghana, because of this, has a 74% electricity access rate in rural areas and 94% electricity access rate in urban areas, which is average to a national electricity access of 85.9%. So this, together with its significant natural reserve and various renewable resources, makes Ghana the 6th most electrified country found in Africa. And at number 5, we have Gabon. Gabon, of course, has been transitioning from heavy fuel oil to natural gas and renewable energy, improving its power stability, of course. Now, under something called Gabon Emergency Policy, the oil-rich country aim at introducing energy mix which includes biomass, natural gas, hydropower, and many others in efforts, including even solar, in efforts to reduce the reliance on fossil fuel and improve the access of electricity across the rural population. So Gabon has a 27.8% electricity access rate in rural areas and 98.6% electricity access rate in urban areas, which is averaged to a national electricity access rate of 91.6% in relation, of course, to their country's population of around 2.48 million people. So this makes Gabon the 5th most electrified country in Africa. At number 4, we have Algeria. Algeria's power stability comes from its vast natural gas reserves, which supply a steady base load electricity, of course, in Algeria. However, recognizing the importance of diversification, the country is rapidly expanding its solar energy sector, particularly in the Sahara region. So, modernized transmission infrastructure and foreign investment in renewable projects has further bolstered Algeria's grid reliability. So, Algeria, because of this, has a 99.6% electricity access in the rural areas and 99.9% electricity access rate in the urban areas, with the national electricity access rate of 99.8%. Now, as natural gas in Algeria accounts to 96% of the country's installed capacity, with the remaining 4% sourced from a combination of oil, solar, hydropower, and wind, makes Algeria the 4th most electrified country in Africa. At number 3, we have Tunisia. Tunisia's strong power grid is backed by something called smart technology and international connectivity. There is also something in Tunisia called ELMED or ELMED project, linking Tunisia to European power grid. So this enhances energy stability and efficiency. Now, Tunisia, being near universal electricity access, is supported by real-time grid monitoring and an expanding renewable energy sector. So Tunisia generates, of course, its electricity from natural gas, and it's on track, of course, to a long-term renewable energy. Now, Tunisia, if you don't know, they have 100% electricity access rate, both in rural and urban areas, in relation to their population of around 12.2 million people. Now, this is averaged to their national electricity access rate of 100%, making Tunisia the 3rd most electrified country in Africa. Now, at number 2 is Morocco. Morocco has built one of Africa's most reliable power grids by integrating massive renewable energy projects, such as something called Nur Ouazzazate solar power station. I think I'm right. Now, that country has modernized its grid handle by variability of solar and wind energy. That is to ensure steady supply of energy. Now, Morocco represents a highly potential renewable energy market, especially in solar planning to increase renewable energy by 52%. That is for wind and solar by 2030. Now, Morocco has 100% electricity access rate, both in rural and urban areas, in relation to its population of 37.71 million people, which is averaged to a national electricity access rate of 100%, making Morocco the 2nd most electrified country in Africa. Now, the most electrified country in Africa is none other than Egypt. Egypt leads Africa in power stability with near universal electricity access and a diversified energy mix. The country has expanded solar and wind power while investing heavily in grid modernization. Now, smart grid technologies, advanced fuel management, and improved transmission infrastructure keep the system efficient. Now, Egypt's proactive approach ensures long-term energy security. Also, Egypt's electricity is mainly sourced from hydropower and thermal power stations, and also leading in renewable energy sector. Now, Egypt also is planning to export surplus electricity via interconnections to Europe, to the Middle East, to sub-Saharan Africa, with several countries emerging as front runners. Now, Egypt has 100% electricity access rate in both rural and urban areas in relation to their population of 114.5 million people, which is average to a national electricity access rate of 100%. Bordering the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, Egypt emerges as the most electrified country on African continent. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel for more information beyond this. Bye-bye.